get going on here. Guys, we got a podcast to do. Yeah, you guys should go out to tea or lunch or something to catch up.
I would love to. It's been months.
I understand it's been months, and you know what? I love seeing you guys together and stuff. But yeah, this is.
But knock it off.
Yeah, this is tea time
we're
talk.
serious
All
now.
right,
Yeah, we have a show to put on for the people, for the masses, for our streamers. What's up, everyone who's joining the stream early? Because we are going early. We're doing 2 shows in one today.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to be recording stuff, obviously, for KWSS, but also doing a bunch of stuff live in between. New great music, new great old music here on KFMA. Very excited about all that stuff. So,
All right.
yeah, we got Florida Man coming up here in about a minute or so. We were just checking out Pee Wee Herman's documentary.
It's very good.
You watched the whole thing?
Oh, I saw it at Sundance, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I hate you. That's such a hateable sentence, dude. I saw it at Sundance. Like,
But you know I say that too.
I
just
know.
So, to get your goat.
you got my goat. My goat's been gotten.
Like British royalties, like, oh, peasants. I watched that at Sundance.
Yeah, so
I
long
saw
ago.
that 4 months ago.
I
yeah.
watched it when he was alive. All right,
him.
here's a little bit more of that because we were gonna see in this trailer how Pee Wee Herman came up with the name Pee Wee Herman, which Herb is known for months apparently.
I'm off like a victim in some way. I kept who I was a secret for a really long time. I hid behind an alter ego. Today's secret word is
Gay.
I want
Right,
to
that's who he's hiding, right?
Being different.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let's celebrate it. But I want that not just for you, but for myself.
You know what?
This is
They
just
never mentioned
so
when he got caught
fun.
in the movie theater. They didn't mention what they knew it was an adult movie theater, but they didn't. I don't think they ever publicly stated what kind of movies he was watching.
It was straight.
It was straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was basically bisexual, to be honest with you. I mean,
Rockman
and-
2.1 KFMA. Sorry. Yeah, we're on. We're watching and reacting to the Pee Wee Herman documentary that is going to be dropping on HBO Max that Herb Stratford already saw at Sundance.
It's a 2-part documentary, and so the whole thing's like almost 4 hours by the time you get through the whole thing. But unlike some of the Netflix stuff that you watch, where you're like, they really stretched this one out. This actually has enough meat to go the whole thing. So it's very interesting, just because I feel like we knew who Pee Wee Herman was, Paul Reubens, whatever. But there's so much more to the story, and he was just Pee Wee. It was just a character. One of the things that he did, it just happened to be the one that just everybody sort of glommed onto. And what's also interesting about this documentary, which I haven't really ever seen in any other documentary I've seen, is he spars with the director like the entire time. So when you're seeing these master interviews of him talking to the director's asking him questions, and you usually don't hear the director's voice, or you're just sort of hearing the responses. He's like fighting with the director. And it's interesting because he initially was going to direct it himself, and then he was like, I really shouldn't do that because I can't tell my story. And so so he interviewed people, he found this guy, and this guy pushes him, and he pushes back, and and at one point he stops the whole filming for a couple months, and then it comes back. And so and then when he passes, I don't think he ever saw the whole thing. So
I don't think he did, because I was like, wow, he started shooting this while he was still alive, and of course he sadly passed away. So at what point does he pass away during the making of this?
I can't remember if they address it that way. I think they might address it at the very end. They're like, he's gone now. But it's a pretty interesting story because, coming up as a performer, he was a big improv guy, and, he was straight, and then he was sort of bisexual, and then he was sort of gay. And it was very fluid. He was very fluid in his sexuality. And and then they talk. They're very forward about the fact that they talk about the arrest. They talk about all of his dirty laundry. They don't sweep it under the rug. Wow. They talk about it. And there's 2 of them. There's the theater, and then there's when the police raided his house, and he had collected sort of 1950s gay ephemera, like, magazines, muscle building magazines and stuff. And they found one picture in all of his collection of like hundreds of magazines and all this stuff and books and stuff. They found one picture where the guy looked like he might have been underage.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah,
and it turns out the district attorney the guy that was running for district attorney, this was him prosecuting. He was trying to make a big case. So he could be like, oh, I'm tough on, on child pornography. And it's like, dude, this is not and it turned out it was not child pornography. The whole thing was just bullshit. And sorry, me.
Well, yeah,
sorry, whoops.
That's all right. Yeah, that's fine.
And the whole thing was ridiculous. It was not, it was a made up case, but he weathered all these storms, and then he had these great comebacks. Like when he showed up at the MTV Movie Awards, like 6 months after the arrest, and he's like, making fun of himself. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What an iconic life and career. And, early Pee Wee Herman, when he was doing like Broadway plays, and it was very adult humor. And the fact that there was a whole generation of kids, myself included, I grew up with Pee Wee's Playhouse, and the adult jokes that went over our heads, but still the weirdness and the originality of like a performer ahead of his time, for sure.
And all the people that were on that show, I mean, Lawrence Fishburne, I mean, everybody was on that show.
Yeah, Phil Hartman, and what was in the original plays. So, I'm excited to see this. It gives me Gary Shandling documentary vibes, right? So I think HBO, when it comes to bio documentaries, best in the game. When it comes to true crime documentaries, Netflix, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because Netflix doesn't get, like, I don't know, bored down with details of solving the crime. They just tell the story and sensationalize it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll have more with Herb Stratford talking about movie releases on the podcast broadcast, but I do have enough time to squeeze in a Florida man story, so let's do that.
Florida man, catch an alligator in the trash can. If you can't do it, no one can. Come on now, Florida man.
The one thing that we know for a fact about Florida man is Florida man knows how to party, right? And there's nothing that's going to stop Florida man from partying, even if he goes overboard on a ship. He's going to continue to party. There was a tiki boat crew in the south part of Florida that ended up being heroes during a Saturday karaoke cruise. This is something that you would probably sign up for, where you go out on the sea, get super drunk, and start singing Celine Dion. Yeah.
It's international waters. Don't judge me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Cole Kelly was running his usual charter when he spotted an unidentified man struggling to stay afloat in the water. Now, it seems that the man was allegedly drunk and decided to jump over the railing on a pier and landed on the rocks below. All right. Now, passengers on the tiki boat helped pull the bleeding man aboard, and first aid was administered. But, in true Florida man fashion, after all that, the party resumed, and awesome karaoke was enjoyed by all. So the man who went overboard grabbed the mic and was like, "My turn." So, like I said, there's nothing that will stop a Florida man from partying and singing karaoke, and that includes almost drowning and, getting all cut up from jumping off a pier while drunk, being like, "I could do that." Just another legendary Florida man move. And I think going into Memorial Day weekend, let it serve as a lesson and inspiration going into your celebrations.
Someday soon seem to be the Florida will
classic
be beneath the sea, passed down through the generations. The legend of Florida
Cole
man.
Kelly is our legendary Florida man.
The legend of Florida man. The legend of Florida man.
Had to play the whole song just on a Friday. Gives you the feels. Speaking of songs that give you the feels, I got Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit coming up right after these words, but we're keeping the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast where you could join us, youtube.com/beefvegan. Clear. All right. Yeah. I got that. So, and then we recorded some of that as I get ready for our day. We're going to do F My Life. You want to do some F My Lives?
Sure.
Yeah. You haven't done F My Lives in a minute. I'll do that for the old KWSS. I'm trying to get ahead of it. Oh, so I am doing vacation too. I don't know if you're going off to another film festival in like Cannes or Venice or,
No, nowhere until after the 4th of July. I'm going to Oregon for a client, but no.
Okay. Well,
So you're off next week?
No. We work
after.
next week, right?
Okay.
So next week, business as usual, short week, Tuesday through Friday. And then we're off the first 2 weeks of June.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was going to just take like 8 days off, and I'm like, what am I doing? And the reality is I just re-signed my contract 2 years, but they didn't pay me what they know they should pay me. But, everyone in this building wants more money, and they're, nobody's getting it. But with that said, I'm like, fine, that's cool. Don't give me that money, but I am, taking my vacation days and enjoying myself. So when I was like really thinking about it, I was like, yeah, I need a full 2 weeks because we got the second half of the year, right? We've been sprinting to this point. And I'm like, the second half of the year, I want to do some cool shit, right?
Oh.
Yeah, like we got a good crew going on. Things are, really good. Ratings are really good. The music is getting better. We have a lot of, our friends and connections. The wheels are moving kind of, and some things that we're attempting to pull off going into the, third and fourth quarter of this year. So I need to take a step back to be able to get full night's sleep and just start game planning and visualizing the stuff that we want to be able to do and hopefully have a lot of fun. So.
Well, on the 6th, actually, I was going to be gone because I'm going to Phoenix Comic-Con. Excuse me, Phoenix Fan Fusion.
You can't say that. Yeah, you can't.
Wait, why is
you're
it
going
not
to get sued.
Comic-Con?
Because Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con sued them.
That's
Really?
ridiculous.
I was broadcasting from there live. I was a part of Phoenix Comic-Con from, I think, year 3 on. Yeah. And so we had a great relationship with the KWSS up there and had a lot of great experiences.
Yeah, they're a sponsor of some of the stuff. Still.
Yeah, but not a money sponsor. So the love there because of the relationship that we created way back when at the very beginning, because we knew that Comic-Cons are awesome. So like I literally watched it go from like a strip mall to a portion of the convention center to like just a hallway, to 2 hallways, to taking over the entire epicenter. It is one of the largest in the country.
It is. Yeah, I think it's the 3rd largest. It is. We've watched it grow the last 5 or 6 years, or maybe 10 years, and it's remarkable. I mean, what they've done up there, and I mean the lineup. If you're a fan, and I mean, I know some of the listeners are, and some of the streamers, like the lineup of guests this year is absolutely unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah.
All 4 of the Hobbits.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like the Beatles getting together for nerds.
It's Hayden Christensen is going to be there. Anthony Daniels, C-3PO.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Kingpin and Daredevil.
Yep.
I mean, it's just the lineup is insane. Marissa Tomei. The lineup is insane. I don't know why she's there.
Jay and Silent Bob,
insane.
like Kevin Smith, and then Jason Lee, and they're going to do a 30th anniversary screening of Mallrats.
Really?
Yes, dude.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Yeah, I already signed up for 2 of my photo ops. You want to know who I'm doing?
Who?
Yes.
Kevin?
No, because I've met Kevin. I got to do people I haven't met.
Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
So we're doing. My wife and I are doing Daredevil and Kingpin,
Okay.
and we're doing Frodo and Sam.
Oh, that's
So,
messy. Yeah.
I thought about doing all 4 Hobbits, and I'm like, well, that's a lot of money, and if I could do another photo op with somebody else, so yeah.
You know what's great? You're so tall. When you're in picture with people, you make them look like hobbits. So it's going to look like Peter Jackson.
Like me down.
Yeah. It's going to look like Peter Jackson took that picture. Yeah, which is fantastic.
Yeah, super stoked about this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
very excited.
And I would be at this year's Phoenix Fan Fusion, but I'll be in Rocky Point that weekend. So
that's a good excuse. Though.
yeah, absolutely. I'd rather be on the beach and
Drunk
stuff.
in your underwear. I think it's a good thing.
Who's bringing underwear, man? That is not in my bag right now. It's swim trunks, and then just let the humidity take control. Yeah, it's
Love it.
Yeah, it's gonna be super fun. So I'm stoked about that. I was actually reading. I am a little concerned because, a lot of tension between Mexico and U.S. has been, growing because of this administration just having a tariff wars with everyone, and then so Mexico responds, in kind, and this has actually affected the ticket sales for this year's Circus Mexicus, so they had to actually downsize it.
Really?
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I wanted to show Rico what it's like in all its glory, and then also. Then we get backstage, and the backstage is super pimp and everything else because I'm friends with a lot of people down there. So it would have been a super VIP experience. Now it's a little more intimate, and everyone's a VIP, but still going to be fun. So instead of like over 5,000 people at this one concert, it'll be like 1,500, 2,000 people packed into Banditos in the parking lot there. But everywhere we go, and I was explaining to my friend Kat last night about this, it's like spring break in the 90s. With everyone who partied for spring break in the 90s. You know what I mean? So we're all older now, but we still go to Rocky Point to party like it's 1999 in Rocky Point, And so it's great to see, but this was some of the stuff. What were you going to say?
How's Kat doing?
No, different cat.
Oh, different cat.
Yeah.
How many cats do you know?
A lot, actually. All from down here.
All right.
No Phoenix cats in my life, but Rumbly, Cat from the Roadrunners, and Smashing Cat. So 3.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. I love me some cats, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm a dog guy. Anyways, so here's what they said as far as Circus Mexicus pro tips to make sure everyone has the best possible experience. And there's a couple things on here. I'm like, oh no. One, don't speed, especially around Ajo and going through Soñita. How do you say it?
Sonoita.
Sonoita. Thank you. And it's always good to have a bilingual guy close by. As the expert.
Samarita.
Yeah. Anyways, that goes without saying, right? Most of the craters or potholes on the road to Penasco were fixed this week in Mexico, but a few remain, so drive slow. Now, remember, last time I went down, I hit a pothole that was so gnarly. It blew out my tire instantly, dented my rim, and added 3 hours to my commute down there.
Yes.
So, yes, Rico and we were both in the car when that happened. I'm driving the same car, my Kia Soul down there, because I don't give a fuck. And I'm going to be like literally 10-2. Well, okay, 10-2 and then beer. But going like 45 and super slow, like I'm driving down the speedway. All right. It says there's a slight chance you'll be asked to show your passport and vehicle registration going into Mexico, which is something new and I'm not stoked about because I got my passport, but it's expired. I had to renew my registration literally yesterday because I noticed I'm like, oh shit, I got expired plates. Can't do that. But I'll have registration by that time.
But wait a minute, your passport's expired and you're going out of the country?
Yeah, it doesn't matter when you're driving. Every year, my passport's
It doesn't matter when you're white.
Yeah.
Well, there is that.
I've gotten Mexicans across the border who didn't have any identification whatsoever. My buddy Danny, who's literally has Made in Mexico tattooed on his neck, and we still were able to drive through. Those are different times. With that though, like they don't care that it's expired because it still registers. So every time I go through, they grab it, boom, they scan it, good to go. Thank you very much. I'm still showing valid ID. And passport. So that's not an issue. And Rico has a valid passport, so I could always piggyback off of him.
Yes.
But going into Mexico, then they might try to give me shit, right? Because like U.S. doesn't care, right? Going back in, they're like, whatever, welcome home. Going in, they could use it as an excuse to shake down. So I know this, and that's fine. So going into it, I already got my first little tax taken care of. I will have a $20 bill on the last page of my passport. So when they do, if and when they do ask for my passport, I'll show it to them and then have that $20 bill, and it solves everything. All right. They also have FMM tourist cards this year, which is something that they've always wanted to implement, or like it's always something they should implement, but they don't, right? For years. This year, it's kind of a big deal, and you can process them at the border or right as you enter, which is a little bit of a fee, and it's kind of stupid. But there's been no word of enforcement yet. So I'm hoping with it being a busier weekend, we go down there on Thursday. Who knows? But last couple times with my luck, they look at me and they're like, we got to talk to that guy.
Well, and this, the hardest part about these holiday weekends are the backup coming back in. Sometimes you're in line for like 2 hours.
Yeah,
and it's
but see, that's the benefit of it being downsized is that the way back in will be less lines. So I was saying like silver lining on this. Yeah. There is a silver lining. So going in and coming back in won't be as busy as normal weekends. You're thinking it'd be twice the size. Robert from Late to the Party said Beef's going to get stuck in Mexico. Will have to start his new life as Latino radio DJ named Carne Vegana.
I like it.
That's a good name.
Yeah, and I would happily do that. They also said, and you can buy all your booze and meat for your condo in Mexico. You will not be taxed at the border for taking one bottle over. But what they're doing is they're taxing when you bring in, right? Now, my issue is I like to bring cases of water, right? American water. Because I don't want to, pee out my butt all week. Looking at you, you know what I'm talking about, right?
You just get it over once and then that's it, man.
Fair enough.
It's a part of you and you don't have to worry about it ever again.
It's part of my diet. I mean, honestly, I honestly thought about going down there and literally drinking a tall glass of Mexican water to start off my weekend and just flush out. It's like a detox. Yeah. It's like the Miami Beach detox, right?
Just go a day early and dedicate that day.
Yeah.
To the bathroom.
Yeah, I want to be poolemic. Just spewing out my butt. And real quick and easy. Sit down, get up, and then start dancing. Anyways.
You're selling it so good, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
Who doesn't want to travel with Mr. Butt Pee?
I know. And we'll be in a hotel room with like 3 to 4 girls too. So yeah. That's how I like to do it. Ratio. Wow. Yeah. They all look great too. They're friends since freshman year of high school. So and then throwing Rico in there. And I might even, throw Rico to the wolves. If any one of my girlfriends are horny, I'll be like, get the buff guy.
God, I feel like I'm in college all over again.
Why?
Herb's like, I'm going to Comic-Con and I'm going to meet Frodo. And then Beast with his backwards like, yeah, I'm going to go to Mexico with chicks. And I'm going to be barfing out my butt.
Oh, shit. What did I do?
I'm like, and I'm just the dude like, yeah, I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do either of those things.
Oh, I'm sorry, Valdez. I'll bring you next time. We got to have a trip down there. It'd be great to, be able to take like a whole show trip. Because what I will be doing as well, not only since Rico's down there, we'll be shooting content. We're going to bring our lapels and hopefully not while riding ATVs because he wrecked it last time. But what we will be doing is I'll have a program on my phone so I could upload radio breaks for KWSS. So the idea was to go up to a bunch of people and record like mad. And this is a great way for icebreakers. You use the radio angle all the time for anyone that you deem semi-attractive. You're like, hey.
I can't wait to drop that gem in Korea. Let's see if I come back with some.
Yeah. Well,
it's going to be so fun.
Yeah, but
we could StreamYard from Korea because I think when it's 9 here, it's midnight over there.
Yeah, we did that when Rico was in Vietnam. So plan on it for sure. And it's great, but with the internet, we're all connected. So yeah, so we're going to go down there and meet a lot of people. And then we have the perfect opening. Like, hey, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Do a radio segment. Can I ask you a question? And I'll have a bunch of stupid questions all lined up. Yeah. So it's good. We'll look forward to it. Obviously, mentally, I'm already there. Should have already recorded F My Life. No, I wanted to talk about Mexico for 10 minutes.
You have for a while now.
I know. I'm sorry. But I can't wait.
We got in trouble for catching up.
I know, right?
All right.
I was. We still got people watching the stream, so it's somewhat informative and entertaining, right?
I stayed really quiet because
Yes,
I'm
it
like,
was.
finally, somebody else is getting in trouble. And I was like, let me drink this
It's
in.
not in trouble,
No.
right? It
Fine,
was
somebody else got scolded.
okay. Again, no, stop victimizing yourself right now, Valdez. That's not the Feel Good Friday we're going for. And
Made me feel
also-
good.
all right, again, no, this is about performing for the streamers, right?
Yes.
Yes, right. In fact, actually, you got some random would you rather's. Let's make Herb Stratford
Oh.
squirm, Mari. Let's do a would you rather. And, he is a trooper. He does answer one or the other.
That's true.
And then we'll see if it's the right answer and if Valdez would agree with Herb. All right. So what's your would you rather here, Mari?
Okay. Would you rather be an explosive-proof suit tester or parachute tester?
All right. That's an excellent question. Explosive proof suit tester
Yeah.
or parachute tester.
Real things.
Herb Stratford. These are real things. Yes. So
I heard explosive poop tester. I'm like, that's all horrible.
No.
Horrible
Suit.
job.
Suit.
No, I'm going to go with the explosive suit because the thing is, it'd be over like this. If your parachute doesn't work,
then you have a little bit of time
Oh.
to what? Say your piece.
No, then you're
Give
like
some shout
to
outs.
soil yourself. So,
You're like, oh, I'm going to die. Shout out
No.
God. Shout out Jesus. Shout out my wife and son. I hope you hear this eventually. Feel my presence. Splat.
what do you think, Valdez?
I'd do the parachute thing.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
This guy's a paratrooper. Yeah, so that was the wrong answer, Herb. And tell him why you would be a parachuter.
Because think about it. Your shoe don't work, you're done. If the explosive suit don't work, you could miss an arm, a leg, half a body,
Oh,
and
you
then
go.
you're crawling around like some sort of like half a person. No.
Yep, see? That's why I know he is the litmus test for right or wrong.
all right.
Rock on 2.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents, hanging out here on the podcast broadcast. We got film critic Herb Stratford, the beautiful and talented Mari, and equally both Valdez here. So with that said, we got a lot of stuff happening this weekend. You saw Mission Impossible.
I did.
And now Mission Impossible, the first one, came out in 1996.
96,
Wow, really?
29 years ago.
29 years ago. I dated people younger than Mission Impossible 1.
Yeah.
Insane. So with that, now is this going to be the last one, and is it going out with a bang?
It is. I equated this to if the guys from Spinal Tap were watching this movie, they'd be like, "Oh, this one goes to 11." I mean, it is just insane. There are a couple set pieces in this movie, like and you've seen them in the trailer, so I'm not ruining anything for anybody. But there's a set piece in the Russian submarine at the bottom of the ocean and the biplanes that are just absolutely. I mean, Cruise is 63 years old. Okay, and this
really?
dude is hanging off a plane. I mean, it is insane.
He does that, right? He does it.
Yes, he does all this stuff.
That's his thing. He's the
Yeah.
Jackie Chan of short white actors.
So this movie, yes. So to answer your first question, this is the end. And how can you say that? But because it's a $6 billion, I can say it because I've seen it, and the way that they tie everything up, and the way they bring some people back, and the way some people leave, and it's very clear. And honestly, Cruise was keeping Paramount afloat before Taylor Sheridan came around. So if Cruise says I'm done, he's done. And honestly, when you look at him, and there's a lot of this sort of, flashbacky stuff where they're showing like how things started, and they have, sort of things from earlier movies. And you're like, oh yeah, he is 63. You know what I mean? Like you're actually seeing that the guy has aged, and we all have, but I'm just saying, it's interesting.
Well, yeah.
He's not that guy 29 years ago, right? He's still a handsome guy. He's still a good actor, whatever. And you never forget that he's Tom Cruise, right?
Right.
You didn't disappear into a role like Daniel Day-Lewis, but it's a lot of fun. It's almost 3 hours. That's crazy. It's just insane. So for those who aren't paying attention, the last film was in 2023. It was called Dead Reckoning Part 1. I don't know why this is Dead Reckoning, not Part. Or no, it was called not Dead Reckoning. It was called something else, Part 1.
Yeah, but they never released a Part 2.
Yeah, and so now they changed it to this name, and it's the same thing where basically you got to. And I thought the last film in 23 was very good. They did a lot of action, but they left a cliffhanger. You wanted to come back. And, they upped the game. I mean, this is just, I don't know how anybody can top this movie in terms of like summer action film. It's just like summer's here.
Well, yes, but I mean, you got to hold your breath or not hold your breath, but be careful because we got Superman, Fantastic Four. We have a bunch of big ass movies coming out this summer. So
I know, but
as far as action,
this is insane. And
nobody's going to be running more than Tom Cruise.
No, that is true. That is full sprint. Yeah. No, and it's just it's a lot of fun. It's worth it. You got to see it on the big screen. Honestly, it's such a big spectacle. It's interesting. I don't know if this will play at every screening, but there's a little intro from Tom Cruise before the movie starts saying, "Hey, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Glad you're here in theaters."
He started doing that during Top Gun, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that you could just expect now for every Tom Cruise film.
Probably.
I like it.
Yeah, no, it's good. They want to bring back the movie experience. I love the movie experience as much as I love the comfort at home. This movie does seem like you get more bang for your buck because it's almost 3 hours and it's non-stop adrenaline ride. But do you have to watch the other movies to kind of be fully caught up before you watch this?
No, you don't. And that's what's sort of nice. I mean, because they have sort of this thing where the people are constantly reminding him, hey, you know what, everything you've done in the last, they don't say 29 years, but everything in your career has led to this. And they sort of show you little clips, which are fun because then you're like, oh, that was awesome. And oh, I remember that. But no, it's a standalone thing. They explain enough about who's who. Like Isai Morales is fabulous as the big bad guy. I mean, the AI is the real bad guy, but he's sort of if you remember from the last film. I love seeing that guy. He's like, it's so great. We haven't seen too much of him. I mean, if you remember, he came on to screen La Bamba, right? I mean, that's where we first saw Isai Morales.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you can tell the money is on the screen. I mean, as much as that motorcycle jump in the Alps, the last film was insane. This is like times 5.
And didn't he injure himself while making this? When he was jumping from rooftop to rooftop?
No, that was the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't get injured this time, that we know of.
The fact that he didn't die while making these films, so many of them.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, and I understand there's a cable attached to him and stuff, but the guy is a lunatic.
He is.
Yeah. And they just had to wrap it up because, at what point can a 70-year-old sprint?
Well, I think he's looking at Harrison Ford riding a horse at 83 and going, I don't want to be that guy.
No. And even in that scenario, the horse is doing the running. So Tom Cruise would try to race the horse. That's who he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great. And those reviews seem universal. A lot of people are loving this Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. And of course, did you get the look at the popcorn bucket? Because you're the Roadhouse.
No, I did not.
Critic.
No,
they have a special popcorn bucket that's like a bomb.
Oh.
You don't get that much popcorn, but it does look pretty awesome and probably costs about $50. I'll show you a picture.
Between that and the Jurassic Park dinosaur head, I mean, like, what are you going to do with this stuff? Like, I mean, I have a lot of junk in my house, but I mean, that stuff takes up a lot of room.
It does.
Yeah.
And the Dune bucket, I know what you're going to do with that.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do have a dinosaur head fetish as well, so I would do the same thing to the dinosaur head bucket than I would the Dune bucket.
Ouch.
You too? I point to Valdez. I'm like, come on, come down with me. Come down here in the dirt with me, Valdez.
Whatever you choose to believe.
All right. Well, that's Mission Impossible, of course, is theaters everywhere. But that's not all, because a lot of big releases are happening this weekend. And we're going to continue to talk about those with film critic Herb Stratford. But we're going to keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/beefvegan. For those of you listen to the radio, here's the latest from The Funeral Portrait. It's Holy Water on Rock 102.1.
You're holy water, holy. I only get to hear the end of songs.
No,
That's all I get to hear.
That's true.
That's an accurate.
Because if
rendition.
we played him the whole song, then he would sing the whole song, and so like I can only put up about 5 seconds of him singing, and that's the tail end. It's a good way to end, though. It is a good song, and they're going to be performing with Ice Nine Kills.
Wow.
Yeah,
They were just here though, right? And you met the guys, and they're all nice.
they're super nice, absolutely, and they're going to be nice again. Another band that was nice that is coming back to Tucson is what was the name of the Dexter and the Moon Rocks.
Oh.
Dexter and the Moon Rocks is one of those bands that just like a Funeral Portrait signed, right? And they blew up kind of on TikTok, but they also got a little bit of a push. Dexter and the Moon Rocks is 100% TikTok. And we've been talking about this time and time again with artists. Like I was talking with Mouse Powell and KWSS, and he was shopping his record to be signed. And all the labels have the same questions. All right, what's your follower count? What's your engagement? What's your reach? And they look at Mouse's stuff, and they're like, you're doing the right stuff. Just haven't made it there yet. Literally do all of the work, and then we will take money from you.
Yes.
That's and I'm like, that's the business now. I was having a long discussion about it the other day. It's ridiculous. All right, but let's get ready to do some F My Lives here. Let's see, put it in the 3:00 hour. And I got FML intro.
Oh, did you see Minecraft?
Yeah,
Did you yell? Did you partake?
Chicken jockey.
I did not, but it was much better than I thought it was.
It was so good.
It was a lot of fun, actually.
It was
and,
really
I'm over Jack Black, and it was still okay.
I love him.
How can you be over Jack Black?
I know he's a gem.
He's a gem.
He's just over. He's just like too much.
He's the same guy in every role.
Yes, exactly.
But this time his name is Steve.
Steve.
It's amazing. Now, did your boys like it too?
Oh, loved it.
Thoroughly. All right. Are they
Yeah.
playing Minecraft?
No,
So they didn't even get the references.
no, but it was still fun.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this here. 939 KWSS. It is Friday around 3:30. Let's do another round of F My Life, shall we?
Yeah.
Beef Vegan presents F My Life. F My Life. F My Life.
Yes, these are unfortunate situations. Email to me at beef@kwss.org, subject line FML, or DM to me at beefvegan on Instagram. With that said, our panelists today, Valdez, Mari, and film critic Herb Stratford.
Yes.
It's been a while since you weighed in on some F My Lives, Herb. It's
Yeah.
going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right, our first F My Life sent to me by Lane. They wrote, I tried to flirt by biting the tip of my straw while maintaining eye contact. I bit too hard, snapped it in half, and started choking on iced coffee like a flirty walrus in distress. Laney, I guess is her name. F My Life. What do you say, Mari?
Yeah, that sounds painful.
Yeah, biting is not a good flirt. Show me how you don't bite the straw. That's a good flirt. Right? What do you say, Valdez?
Big baby. Settle down. Why are you biting the straw so hard?
Yeah, maybe it's frustration. What do you say, Herb?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's just uncomfortable. I don't know if it's F My Life.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, you almost died. So I think that's kind of F My Life-ish, but we'll have to agree to disagree and move forward. Next F My Life sent to me by Jonas. Jonas said, I walked into a room full of people and tried to confidently say, sup. Instead, I tripped over my own foot, saluted, and said, thanks. I left without explaining. Amazing. All right, F My Life, Herb.
Yes. Embarrassment. Yes. On like times 10. I
You ever-
love it.
You
I've
ever
done
try?
it.
Yeah, you have done it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why you laughed so hard. I was like, tell me that story.
Yeah. No, I just like, you think you're cool and you just lose it. The whole thing is just gone. You're like, you want to go,
Yeah.
you shrink down and get out of the room.
The grand entrance.
Yeah.
Yes. Would you agree? F My Life there,
Yes.
Mari? All right. And Valdez?
Big baby. Nobody died. We've all done it. We've all embarrassed ourselves in a room.
This is
and you
not
just own
nobody
up to it.
died.
Yeah, dude. If your bar is death, then I can't go to you every time because I know the answer is going to be Big Baby because that's a high bar, dude, and I don't think it should be that high. Not going into Memorial Day weekend, bro.
It's not like you was like, oh, I went to say sup and the N word came out. Then I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, F your life, but you tripped on yourself. Come on.
All right, fine. 2 out of 3 agree your life is F. Let's go on to this next one here. Sent to me by Deja. Said, I sent a topless mirror pic to my situationship. Later, you could realize clearly that my mom was folding laundry in the background, making direct eye contact with the camera.
Oh,
Wow.
She died.
wait.
F my life, Valdez.
Your mom died?
Obviously, I added that last part, okay? But isn't it F my life in that scenario?
No, because the guy's not really looking at the mom. He's looking at the subject.
You're so hard to please.
I know,
Valdez.
dude. This guy. This is what I'm working with on a Feel Good Friday. F my life, Herb.
Absolutely.
All right, and Mari.
Agreed.
All right, 2 out of 3 agree.
I just got a boob pic this morning, and I wasn't looking at the background. I was like, blow, there we are.
Nobody asked, and I loved how you just shoehorned that information in, which is factual. I seen it. It was awesome. But final F my life of the day. All right, Bree said, I was trying to look cool at a bonfire and lean back in my chair. The legs gave out. I fell directly into a cooler and screamed, I'm fine, with a hot dog stuck to my face.
Oh, God.
F my life. What do you say, Mari?
I say yes.
Okay. Whenever a hot dog gets stuck to your face, that's an F my life.
Absolutely.
I call that a fun Friday night. All right, Herb.
I'm gonna go with that's pretty next level embarrassment. That's like 3 things on top of each other. So
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, I didn't even finish, but for Valdez and stuff. Then the fire took over, burnt down the entire forest, and thousands of animals died.
So that's how the LA fire started.
F my life?
Yeah, it's an effort. You
There
burned
you
a
go.
lot of houses, lady.
Obviously, that last part wasn't true, but we'll still count that as an F my life for you, Bree. Thank you for the email. Keep them coming. beef@kidofss.org. More independent music on the way. KWSS 93.9. Keep it right here. And all right, so there we go. That's F my life for today. I mean, honestly, the bar was so high. Died?
I mean,
No empathy whatsoever for people who don't die?
they're all just embarrassing stuff.
Yeah.
It's sort of the theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, some of them, like previous, there have been like bad things. Like, oh, I was not paying attention. My car hit a pedestrian. Like, damn, that's an effort.
That's not a feel good Friday F my life that I'm trying to share. You know what I mean? Yes. I mean, there are some, and in fact, a lot of F my lives that I don't read on air, it's because I'm responding back to them and talking them up and, being like, it's going to be okay, blah, blah, blah. Because I can't even tell you how many F my lives I've received from real tragic, devastating news, personal news, talking about death and illness and stuff. And obviously I can't read that on the air and be like, big baby, instead I'll respond back with words of encouragement and support and all that stuff.
It was
And-
only a stepdad. That's a big baby. It would have been your real dad.
Yeah, but I do like how Valdez did a humble brag in the middle of all that. But look, you just sent a boob pic. Not a big deal. I just got one this morning. Keep them coming, ladies. All right. And I'm like, yeah, man. It was not bad either. He's gotten a boob pic, lately. I haven't gotten a boob pic in forever. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to BBQ Presents. We were just talking about this. And this is odd. And I know that Herb's going to kind of shrivel up in the room real quick. But, Valdez on the podcast broadcast slipped in a humble brag that he got a boob pic this morning. And it was awesome. And I thought to myself, I don't even remember the last time I got a boob pic. And yes, they are awesome. That's a gift that keeps on giving, But the guys always with their response is they want to send D pics. But women don't want to see D pics as much as we want to see boob pics. And that's a sad fact.
I don't do D pics.
Yeah, well, I understand. You got to, first try to like get the angles and all that stuff. Well, I actually came across a piece asking women what they would rather receive instead of a D pic. Right now, Maury, what's a question? Like, what would you rather receive other than a D pic or besides a D pic? And of course, you're married. I'm saying pre-married, Maury.
I would
Money.
like to see clean dishes, or a made bed.
Oh yes, made bed.
A vacuum living room. Maybe even like a pristine bathroom.
Okay, yeah.
All like, yeah.
I have photoshopped bathroom pics that I could send out at any given time. It's fantastic. So here's some of the best responses that I came across, and this is good for all guys out there. Just in case your go-to is the D pic, which honestly, don't be upset at yourself. That's our guys' go-to. Until we get older and we give up. All right, so Christine said a guy used to send her pictures of his lap in different settings with a message saying, I want you right here. And she enjoyed that a lot. So It wasn't showing the graphic stuff, but it was alluding to it. It was sexy. Vanessa said a shirtless photo of him in bed in the morning or at night suggested that he liked to cuddle. Oh, that's pretty good. Like, hey, this is my cuddling pose. And then, a relaxing photo of him with his contact lenses out and wearing glasses also created the impression that he was comfortable with being vulnerable for her. So vulnerability is sexy, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what if I send a video of me attempting to do push-ups and I get gassed out in like the third push-up? That's so vulnerable. Is that sexy?
Sure.
You're too nice. There's no way that's sexy. Suzette said a shot of the bulge hidden by tight pants or sweatpants is much sexier than seeing the actual eggplant. Have you attempted bulge pics? Say it on the radio.
No, I would have to have a bulge in order to do that.
Well, you could mock up a bulge. It's easier.
I've been getting a lot of requests for pictures of me with my dog. They're like, I want to see you hold the dog.
Oh, yes, pets.
That's weird to me.
You're 100% right. And a couple dog, things and pet pictures definitely in there. It also shows that you're able to be responsible, loving, and caring for another living thing.
Yes.
Yes. It screams out like parenting vibes, and women love that. Let's see. Samantha said seeing a guy in his boxers with his hand down there works for her, but no D. Oh, like the Al Bundy pose. Because my last girlfriend hated me when I did that. I'm like, what? I'm not being sexy? All right. And see, like Rebecca said, a picture of her man's legs and nothing else gets her going. So there you go. So, and I know it's also a stressful situation sending out that first D pic when you're, sexting, not randomly, not, unsolicited. But think about there are other ways to be sexy without just showing everything that you got.
I'm getting to that age where I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a great boob pic, but screenshot me your credit score. I want to see that.
Really?
Oh.
I still want to see the boob pics, and it's been forever. So at Beef Vegan. All right, we have a review with Herb Stratford coming up after Nickelback, going out to all the ladies out there. All right, so a couple more that I didn't mention. A photo of credit card info, right? So Nikki said that, and then she likes going to the opposite of sexy, making it a pic that celebrates dorkiness of any kind. Caroline said she likes celebrating the dorkiness. So I got a guy for her.
But not like 40-year-old virgin dorkiness.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
Like. That was so brilliant. Like you can't let her come here, right? This looks like Neverland Ranch. I mean, it's just, that movie has so many great lines.
Oh, it's such a good one.
Remember when I showed you and Kat my sexy shower pic?
I must have blanked that out because
I mean, you looked.
I just remember you talking about rubbing it out in the shower all the time.
That's what it was.
That scarred me.
Oh,
so
God.
So I showed because it looked good because I had the right angle and everything. It looked like pecs, but you can see my nostrils. Kat was hung up on my nostrils, right? And this was on the podcast, and they looked at it, and that was probably the sexiest pic that I ever sent out. Carlos remembers that a bit. Weird that you remember that.
Poor Herb. He's a national treasure, and this is how you treat him?
What do you mean? No, he, as a boy, as a friend, he critiqued the shower pic. He like pushed his glasses.
That's his job.
Up.
He's a critic. He's supposed to critique things.
I know. And he's like, it's no Mission Impossible 6, more like Mission Impossible 4.5. Am I
right? He's like, definitely don't want this sequel.
Nobody does about this. All right. We're about minute 50 before we get on here for a the second review, which is going to be fun. And that's Lilo and Stitch, the live action, which I know that Mari's excited to hear. I've actually seen people comment on it and talk about it on social media. So friends of mine, loving it, right? Saying they can't wait to see it. Of course, it's Disney. There's going to be before we get into the review, let's talk about the special effects. Does it look legit?
Yeah,
it seems to me
100%, 100%. And it's 72% on Rotten Tomatoes. What I think about this is so interesting is it's great counter programming, because you've got the whole family goes to the theater this weekend. Dad goes to Mission Impossible. Mom and the kids go to Lilo, right? I mean, that's really smart. It's going to be a huge box office because both of these two are going to crush it. It's just going to be a giant number this weekend.
I like that because you know what? I want you to kind of, both of you, I want everyone to kind of. Okay.
I'm waiting for what your request is.
All right. It's a fun one. What was was it Barbenheimer weekend? When those two weekends came out and they called that a double feature. It was Barbenheimer, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Say it again. Say it for me.
Barbenheimer? Well,
yeah, Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you guys to come up with a name for this weekend, the double feature of being Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible. So don't tell me right now, but I'm going to ask that question to you. So bat around some names, maybe try to combine them, come up with something else. Yeah, I kind of have one. 15 seconds. We're going to get it on the air. We'll be able to watch the trailer as well. And then Disney will sue us. Gotta love that. All right, here we go. Rock 1 2.1 KFMA. That is Nickelback with How You Remind Me. Welcome back to Beefy Presents Podcast Broadcast. Of course, Memorial Day weekend is upon us, and that means a lot of big movie releases, signifying the beginning of the summer box office. With two big ones right out the gate, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, which we already talked about with film critic Herb Stratford, and the other one, which, of course, Mari's super excited to bring her boys to go see.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe go see alone. I don't know. Lilo and Stitch, the live action version of this film. Now, Herb, you saw this?
I did not, because Mission Impossible was too long, so I couldn't see both of them. But I'm very excited about it because for me, the Disney live action, sort of versions of the animated films have been very hit or miss.
Right.
Little Mermaid didn't really work. And, I wasn't a fan of Lion King. So I was excited. As soon as I saw the trailer, I'm like, yep, they got it. And that's because I think, honestly, special effects have caught up. This is not Roger Rabbit. Okay. This is integrated stuff. And, honestly, Disney has always said they've been sort of unhappy about the way the animated one underperformed. They thought they had just a gold mine and it did not deliver. This is their second pass. They're going to get it this time. Because you've got not only the generation of, those who watched it as an animated film, either as a child or like me with my son, but now you've got the kids who are going to be like, and then they can rediscover the animated one, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about this, and it's 72% on Rotten Tomatoes. But, this is the first real weekend we've seen this year when there's been two monster films that not only are not competing, but they're complementing each other,
Yeah, because they're two completely different genres, obviously. Mm-hmm. But, they are talking about this as being a double feature, as if like Barbie and Oppenheimer were ideal, like double feature mates. Yep. But, America made it work. And, the movie industry appreciated the Barbenheimer phenomena. Yeah. So if we were to name this weekend, something like that to make the Mission Impossible Lilo and Stitch double feature, right? And I think your explanation kind of led to my reasoning for this name perfectly, because you said this is something that the family could come out and like the mom and the kids could go watch Lilo and Stitch, and then the dad could go watch Mission Impossible, right? So that's why I want to call it like a joint custody weekend, right?
Oh.
I know it doesn't have any of the titles of the movies in there, so I don't think it will catch on. The single dad weekend. No, okay. So Valdez, do you have any ideas of what we can name this weekend?
Just low-hanging fruit like Stitching Impossible.
Stitching Impossible.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
like
see,
that.
You say low-hanging fruit, but she's impressed. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so Mari, now you have to one-up it.
No, I don't have one. I said Stitchossable.
Stitchossable, okay.
So it's like a version, but his is better.
All right. What do you say, Herb?
I was going to say the final stitching, but that really doesn't work.
Oh,
so.
because the final reckoning.
Yes, the final stitching seems pretty fun.
I like that.
Yeah. Now, of course, this live action film, I think a lot of people are going to be asking, is the special effects, the graphics, the CGI believable? Does it make it feel like you're in a cartoon, or does it make it feel like Lilo or Stitch? I don't know which one. Stitch.
Lilo's the girl.
Yeah. Stitch is an actual living creature in this universe.
It looks like it to me.
Absolutely. Yep.
The latter.
Yeah, it's good. And it makes you want one. And I mean, whoever is the first person to get a really good Stitch plush out of this is going to make a ton of money.
Oh, yeah.
So
get on, Valdez. I know you make everything. Yeah. All right.
And Stitch is the same height as Tom Cruise, so no matter what, you're not missing out.
100%. Nailed that for sure. So Lilo and Stitch out everywhere this weekend. We're going to continue the conversation on the podcast broadcast, but we're not done because there are things that are coming to Apple TV and HBO Max that you need to know about. Film critic Herb Stratford is going to give us the rundown, but we're keeping that conversation moving on the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/beefvegan. All right, there we go. Oh, clear that. Sarah Silverman, man.
Yeah, but her little story about her brother.
That's what I was going to talk about, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little dark.
Well, I'm not going to talk about it, but yeah, so Sarah Silverman made headlines this. Yeah, is that featured in this?
There's a bunch of sort of dark stuff. This is a very different page for Sarah Silverman. This is on. Are we going to talk about it?
No. Well, I mean, we're going to talk about it on, I guess, the air, yeah. But so you don't want to be your elf?
Well, I'm just. All
right. Well, let's talk about this Sarah Silverman documentary on HBO Max because, Sarah Silverman made headlines revealing some pretty dark backstory, right, of her life and her little brother.
Secrets.
Yeah, absolutely. So is this mentioned at all in her comedy special?
So it's interesting. So, I mean, everybody sort of knows Sarah Silverman as, it's Jimmy Kimmel's girlfriend. And she's sort of a raunchy, she's like Nikki Glaser. She's sort of,
Nikki Glazer's like her. Let's be fair.
That's true.
That's true. The OG in the room.
And so, a lot of times it's about, it's sort of stuff to make you slightly uncomfortable. And, her talking about, I'm a Jewish girl and my gynecologist is a Nazi. I mean, like stuff that just like sort of designed to shock, right? And,
I mean, that is such like a perfect like example joke for Sarah Silverman. I'm like, it's that easy, huh? Yeah, all right.
Seriously. And so this is the reason this stand-up is interesting is that both of her parents have passed. And so she is now sort of cleaning out the closet and she's telling stories about her family. And, yes, there's still some of that biting humor, but it's a very different Sarah Silverman. It's a more, I don't want to say mature, but it's just, it's less like going for the easy, you want to see my vagina jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, and that's funny stuff, but this is like a very grown-up special. And you're sort of sitting there going, I guess I'm sad, but yeah, it's funny, but I'm sad, So, and then there's the whole thing about baby shaking. And I mean, there's a lot of sort of dark stuff going on with this thing, but it's still funny. It's still Sarah Silverman. And I feel like she's sort of coming into herself as an adult comedian and not just sort of a shock comedian. So I liked it, frankly, but it's not, if you're just like a diehard Sarah Silverman fan, you're probably going to be disappointed because you're not rolling in the aisles.
Right. David, our streamer, just said he just watched her special. Very good and clever. So he approves of it.
Yeah.
Sarah Silverman's always been great at shock comedy, at, blue comedy, if you will, and going places where mostly male comics would go. So she was a pioneer when it comes to that style of humor. But after a while, you're like, once you get up 60s, 70s and stuff, you start having, she's not in her 60s yet.
No, but I mean, she's losing family members, and that sort of triggers a different kind of comedic response, right? You start to think about your family, think about what was funny, what was tragic. And, instead of just sort of making this stuff about you, it's about other people. And it's still relatable, right? Because, I mean, a lot of her fans are in the same exact age as her.
Right.
So they're having these same experiences. So, yeah, it's worth a watch. It's a very different comedy special, that's for sure.
All right. And so if you want to laugh until you cry from depression, Sarah Silverman's comedy special on HBO Max is for you. Thank you, Herb Stratford. That's what it sounds like. I'm like,
Friday, baby.
Like, Sarah, what are you doing, man? But no, I get it. And then, it's an art piece. And it's the way she has to, create at this point.
And I will say, one of the things that I love about comedy specials, and this is sort of an aside, but so many of the comedians do their specials in amazing historic theaters, and this is no different. This is in a beautiful theater. So I can't remember where this one was filmed, but I mean, it's so cool because, half the time you're looking around the room going, it's a gorgeous venue. You know what I mean? It's not like an arena. You know what I mean? It's like an actual cool place. So
have they ever shot a televised special from the Fox Theater in Tucson?
There was not a comedy one. No. And I mean, I had all kinds of comedians. I had what's his name, the fluffy guy there.
Yeah,
I had Lisa.
Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah, I had Lisa. What's her name? That was crazy. The
Lampanelli.
Yeah, I had Lisa. Oh my God, she was so awesome.
Yeah, she seems like she'd be super nice.
But she sort of disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
she totally changed her life around. She came out.
Yeah.
She divorced her husband. She's now like stepping away from the mean stuff, and
she was very Don Rickles in terms of her meanness. So
she was great as a roast comedian,
Yeah.
but they also tore into her. So like she also had the worst jokes told against her, and she was able to come back.
I know Eugene Merman filmed his Netflix special at Old Tucson. That theater there.
Nice.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. It would be nice to get some more, just comedy shows in general.
Well. And the problem now, of course, is the elephant in the room is Live Nation coming to town and building a 300-seat venue, which directly competes with Laughs and the Rialto and the Fox and TCC.
Well, I'll say this. It's not a competition for Laughs because Laughs has not been booking great talent forever, right? And so, like they don't manage it that properly. Like they should be having headliners. It's a big enough room where they could have, up-and-coming names. They don't have a booker that is booking the right things, or we would have the comedians on all the time from Laughs. I want to support them.
I mean, I saw some great shows there years ago.
Years
ago.
Yeah, I know, but was it recently? So Laughs needs to compete with themselves and step it up. You can't just do locals and open mics, because I know a lot of, like, I would say hipster comedians, if you will, or up and coming comedians. I always pay attention to the comedic, industry, the comedy industry. And I always love talking to comedians on their way up. Some of them have blown up since then, and they're always great conversations. But yeah, like I keep an eye on Laughs and I'm just like, damn, man. And I'll look up the people that they're booking because it's okay if I don't know their name, right? Because they could be great.
Yeah.
And then be like, this is shit, dude. It's like you're booking like not even good corporate comedians at this point.
Well, the worst part about this is Rio Nuevo giving $2 million to Live Nation, which is a $1 billion multinational company that is under investigation by the Justice Department.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the wrong message. Support local. You know what I mean? Don't bring in.
I think they said, and I don't know if this was a verifiable source, but I was seeing something saying that they admitted that they messed up.
They put a pause on it, but only because everybody went crazy.
Right. Good.
Yeah,
no, and I mean, it created a rift between Rio Nuevo and Tucson Foodie, and and obviously the community. I was talking with Shane. I'm like, you don't have to take such a hard stance because the community is right behind you, and their voice is loud. Right. So, I mean, you're on the right side, but you're not the only one being like, hey, guys, you notice this? No, everyone notices it. It's transparent.
Yeah. Well, and the thing was, too, like Tim Steller's article in the Star. I know we're way off on a tangent here, but Tim Steller's article in the Star, where I was actually quoted, too, he talks about how, like, this attitude just is like, keep Tucson crappy. And it's like, no, it's not about keep Tucson crappy. Don't kick out Borderlands, regardless of how they're doing, right next to 191, where the Rialto does comedy shows. That's not cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could add to downtown by taking building out in a place that doesn't have the foot traffic.
Hell, put it at Park Place, man. It's still in the district, and then you activate another space. There's plenty of empty space at Park Place.
So many. There's so many options. But so to kick out a thriving business that's so instrumental in the community, and both places. So most people are see, she'll keep saying Playformance. So most people are upset about Borderlands, but it's the moms are like, no, that Playformance is amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and also it's like a 300-seat venue, which, not to drag myself into this again, but that's what the Teatro Carmen's going to be, a 300-seat venue. So don't like bring in a $1 billion company to compete with everybody.
Right.
I know.
What does the pause mean, though? Is the pause mean like it won't happen, or is it still...
I haven't heard the details. It's either A, we hope it goes away,
right,
or B, maybe we should do something and they'll say, Live Nation, give us a donation to local things or whatever, just to smooth the path.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why you don't want it, right? Because of the non-competes and the monopoly, right?
Yes.
So first off, a 300-person room, you're not going to get like Dave Chappelle level comedians, right? So you're still getting C-level circuit comedians coming down in Tucson, non-competes for B and A levels. And, and then no other like a promoter like a Rialto, Fox Theater will even be able to book the C level. So that's what happened and I was on the phone talking about this very thing yesterday about Live Nation's monopoly and how it affected the music industry so much that it dilapidated Tucson's. Like it made Tucson's concert scene non-existent because of the non-competes and them owning it. And the problem with the congressional hearing and that it's stalled. We're not seeing or hearing anything about it.
I'm sure they've made a contribution to the current administration. But the other thing about this is if you look at where else they put Punchline comedy clubs, where Live Nation, there's 3 others, I think.
Yeah.
They only put them in towns where they have other venues, where Live Nation owns other venues. So to me, that just is the writing on the wall. They're going to try and make a pitch to grab the TCC or the Rialto or something else.
Yes.
That they want to monopolize the entertainment scenario.
100%.
Yes.
But I heard speculation and rumor that they were going to build, a theater downtown that would rival the capacity of Fox and Rialto.
Yeah, they were in theory, the plan was to take over the Ronstadt Transit Center and build like a 3,000 down to 1,000 seat venue. But the problem is Rio Nuevo, not a problem, it's a good thing. Rio Nuevo doesn't own the transit center, the city does. And the city's like, oh, no, you didn't. And so that died.
Nice.
So they're trying to get their fingers into Tucson because it's a market. And I appreciate that. But I also don't want to see other businesses which are actually thriving suffer.
Yeah. And unfortunately, when it comes to the entertainment industry, you can't compete with Live Nation. They have that monopoly. And I was explaining to my buddy again, where like if a band says, I really like Tucson, I want to play Tucson. Be like, well, if you want to go coast to coast, then you have to sign with us, period, because we own all the venues across the entire country. We don't own one in Tucson, so you're not going to get Tucson. In fact, actually, we're going to make you sign this contract to say you cannot play Tucson for 6 to 12 months. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Talking local stuff on the podcast broadcast, and potential comedy clubs and whatnot. It's been very interesting developments, but let's keep it going on what's happening to what's dropping on streaming services. Here's something that I know that you've been chasing for a long time here, Herb Stratford, The Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is Apple TV. It's somebody at Apple, and they do a great job with science fiction stuff. They do a great job in, different scenarios. And they must have been like, hey, you know what we'd like to have? What if somebody could make us an Indiana Jones franchise or a National Treasure franchise or something that's sort of, like that, like an adventure franchise? Well, enter Fountain of Youth. Okay. And this is a new film that basically stars John Krasinski and Natalie Portman as sort of estranged siblings. And he's sort of a treasure hunter. She's an art curator.
They kind of look like siblings.
They do.
Yeah.
It actually works. Yeah. And so he's looking for the Fountain of Youth because he's got a client who has cancer and he's like, help me find the Fountain of Youth. So we basically got a globe-trotting, spare no expense, right? Thing where they're hunting all these clues, much like Indiana Jones or National Treasure. And very repeatable, right? You can see this could be a sequel territory. I'm sure those stars signed on for multiple films. And, interestingly enough, it's only at 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's better than that. I watched it last night. And it's sort of fun. They're like, they're raising the Lusitania. They're in the pyramids of Egypt. They're stealing paintings. It's sort of a fun ride. And I like those characters. I like those actors. They hold the screen well. And so if you're sort of jonesing for that kind of action, because we're never going to get another Indiana Jones movie. Thank you. That's good.
Yeah.
And National Treasure, they keep talking about another one, but by the time Nick Cage gets around to it, he'll be the John Voight character, right? They'll be handing it off to somebody else. So this is a pretty fun ride, and it's on Apple TV. Worth your time.
Is this a proper comeback for Guy Ritchie? Seeing Guy Ritchie's name on this could be hit or miss, right? The early 90s or 90s Guy Ritchie, he was a genius. A post-Madonna Guy Ritchie, it's been bomb central, right?
I got to tell you, I'm a huge fan of Mobland, which he is also involved with.
Okay.
Which is on Paramount,
Yes.
which is the crime series with Pierce Brosnan and Helen Mirren and Tom Hardy that he's involved with, which is absolutely peak Guy Ritchie. This is sort of okay Guy Ritchie. It's very sanitized. It's very Apple TV. You know what I mean? It's not as gritty as some of the other stuff we've seen him do. He's still got chops. You know, he still knows how to do it. And interestingly enough, all he ever does is things about people stealing stuff. I mean, literally, that is the only thing the guy does. Every movie, somebody is stealing something.
Yeah, that's why he co-wrote this too. So he's just like, okay, so what gets stolen? Who steals it?
Yeah.
And then Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Let's cast somebody where we can't understand what they're saying because their accent is so bloody confusing.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
And then Adventure Time. All right. Well, that's dropping on Apple Plus if you have it, so you can check out Fountain of Youth. Thank you so much, Herb Stratford.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to continue the conversation on the podcast broadcast and wrap things up with a beef tip after music from Linkin Park. You keep it right here or join us youtube.com/beefvegan. All right. And the way that I said that almost feels like that was a pre-record, right? Yeah. All right. So, Valdez, be ready. Let's record something. Herb, Fountain of Youth. And I had like an old joke, but I talked to Sponty yesterday. He says hi.
It's his
Says
birthday
love.
today.
Oh, shut the fuck up, is it?
Today's his birthday.
All right,
It came up on my Facebook.
Let's call up Sponty.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Let's wish him happy birthday.
How long have you been doing the station circuits, radio circuits?
This one?
Forever.
Or just like just Lotus?
Just Lotus, probably 8 years.
Wow.
Maybe 10. I don't know. I think close to that. Yeah. I talked my
See
way
if
in
he
the door
answers
here.
on birthday or I'm on Do Not Disturb list.
It's kind of early.
Not for him. He's on DC. It's like
He's
noon.
East Coast, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's got kids.
He's got kids. Yeah. Yesterday, it's funny because his wife decided to stay home with both kids. And
Your call has been.
Sing happy birthday. Leave him a voice. Oh.
okay, fine. Okay, we'll do it again.
Wait, you can't call him again. He
yeah,
already hung up.
I don't give a shit.
Just send him a voice memo.
No, we're all gonna sing happy birthday. I'm not gonna send a voice memo. I guess that is the modern way to do it. But he leaves me voicemails, so. All right, we'll just wait. Okay. You know what? I will play the voicemail he sent me yesterday because this is funny. He's a minute and 18 seconds, right? So this is what I get for Smonty. Can you hear this?
No.
Hold on. I got it on speaker. What's up with my phone? Jacked?
Broken.
You're broken. You know what? I'll just email this to me. I'll play it here.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. Technology. So I go beef, vegan at Gmail, voicemail, boom, sending.
Oh, he shares a birthday with my son's teacher,
Oh, really?
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. What's your son's teacher's name?
Emily.
Emily. Nice. Yeah. How old's Emily?
I don't know.
Okay.
He wants to know if she's dateable.
That is not what I wanted to know, Herb Stratford.
Will she send Beef
Ah.
a booby picture?
I don't know about that.
I can hear him sniffing. He's like,
And for the record, I got 0 booby pictures.
Womp womp.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. I'll just take a picture of myself topless.
it's always
Enhance it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
always get these
Filters?
inappropriate texts during the show. That's what bothers me.
Why? You get an inappropriate text during the show?
Yeah, remember?
Well,
Remember the one I showed you where she I didn't have her number anymore, and I was like, "Who is this?" She's like, "You came to my house and you did stuff, made me do things twice." I'm like, "Oh, I'm like, how are you?" I'm like, is this your number now?
New phone. Who did?
yeah. That's a good distraction. Huh? That's an excellent distraction to have.
You came to my house and made me do stuff. Oh my god!
I didn't make
I know.
Are we on air?
No.
Okay. So she
Podcast.
texts. She's like, "You remember who this is?" I'm like, "I don't." She's like, "You came to my house, put my dildo on me, made me come twice." I was
Whoa,
like,
whoa, still on YouTube, dude. This is still
and I'm like,
Google.
"How you been? What's up?" Yeah.
Okay, that's specific.
I can't
mean-
follow up with Schmonty's voicemail after that. Yeah, Jesus.
Hey man, 27-year-olds. What can I say?
Yeah.
This guy drops humble brags like nobody's business, right? Yeah,
You'll never get that from somebody in their 40s. They're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
so my kids are at preschool. You want this?" Or
You know.
You're like, "No, I'm good. Thanks, man."
Perfect 10s out of my age range. What can I say? You know?
2 out of the 5 baby daddies came and picked up the kids. I got an hour window. You're like, all right, no. Us 27-year-olds like, what's up? roommates are out of town. I'm like, all right.
I'll be right there.
Roommates. As roommates, I mean parents, but still.
Whatever, man. We get the big bed.
Come to the basement. Come to the basement door. I'll be down there. Yeah.
Let's see. Valdez, you have stories, right?
That was my story.
No.
Feel
Story
Good
for
Friday.
radio. Serious story for the radio.
What do you want, man?
What was your headlines again? We were going to combine them together or no? We could bang out some speed breaks. I got science. There's a couple other stuff, things that I dined. Oh, you know what? Here, how about you piece that together? We'll talk about this. 939 KWSS, Speed Vegan Presents, hanging out here with my friends on a Friday. Hope you guys have some fun plans. Let me tell you what to avoid. And so you don't get any kind of weird like diseases like chicken chlamydia, which is a thing.
Is it really?
Parrot chlamydia is a thing. That's what I learned this week. Yeah. That's a new fun fact. Maybe a not so fun fact, but yeah, you can sit around the barbecue this weekend. You know, you're talking to your like in-laws and be like, "Hey, Carl, good to see you again." You know, parrot chlamydia is a thing.
So the parrot can't even have fun. There's also diseases in their world.
No, I mean, no, it sucks for humans to catch parrot chlamydia and then try to explain to the doctor that you're not a parrot effer. And this, I'll tell you, here's a story. And this is why I know parrot chlamydia is a thing. A 54-year-old man in Hungary went to the hospital after coughing for months and feeling weak. So doctors found a lung infection caused by a rare bacteria called chlamydia psittaci or whatever. I can't say that word, but the man basically it translates to parrot chlamydia. The man didn't own any birds, but he did live near a pet shop with birds and had chickens whose droppings he cleaned without a mask. And since he was cleaning out chicken droppings without a mask, and I think this is super important for people to know because so many more people are getting chicken coops these days. Yeah, you could get like a parrot chlamydia from chicken poop. Yeah, so it wasn't even from an actual parrot, you know, because I know I fancy me a lilac crown Amazon. I think they're beautiful birds, but I would never make sweet love to it.
No.
Right?
Well, at least not unprotected. So,
yeah. No, I wear a mask.
Shot.
Yeah. In other odd medical news, while we're on the subject, you know, you've probably heard where people have gotten into comas and they came out of a coma, either speaking another language or having an accent, which is very. This kind of falls under this category. But 14 years ago, a French cashier, known only as Laetitia, underwent tonsil surgery. You know, and sometimes they put you out for that, right? Yeah. So ever since that surgery, she's been speaking with an English accent. All right?
like Madonna.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly like Madonna.
Yeah. Maybe she banged Guy Ritchie while she was out. But yeah, so she was
a parrot.
Yeah.
Three-way.
See, we're bringing it all together. So she was 33 when she had the procedure, was told by the surgeon that she had to be patient when asked if she ever get her voice back. And then 3 months later, she told the doc that she'd been patient enough, to which the doctor replied, "You aren't Anglo-Saxon?" And after further examination, the doctor concluded that she was a mystery of science because everything appeared to be normal other than the fact that she's a French woman who now speaks with an English accent, all because they took her tonsils out. So they took out the French part of her tonsils.
Wow.
Yeah, left that English tongue.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so parachlamydia and weird accents after tonsil surgery is what we learned today on this Friday.
Thank you.
That's your beef tip. So if you're cleaning up,
that is not your beef tip.
tip.
I still got beef tips coming up, and so much more. Keep it right here on Independent Radio, KWSS 93.9. All right, and then a beef tip is coming up here in a minute. Oh, when I say a minute, 5 seconds. The show flew by.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was here for a lot longer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we had more Herb today, but it seemed like we had less Herb because the time flew by so fast. Valdez and I are going to be hanging out later on today. What, 4 to 6?
Yes, 4 to 6. And we'll be giving away prizes. Come say hi. Take a selfie with beef.
And Valdez, where at?
Where are we?
It's Royal on
Kia?
22nd and Schwann. Schwann. So yeah, broadcasting live, Royal Kia, 22nd and Schwann. So stop by. Valdez and I will be out there with a bunch of goodies to give away. Yeah, come by, take a picture, high fives and hugs and all that good stuff. It's our Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Time for a beef tip, obviously. Barbecue. Pools, drinking, don't forget to get that sunblock on. And we did come across a piece saying that you want to put sunblock on before you start drinking. All right. So it's a couple things we learned. So sunblock on before you start drinking. It will work less effectively. And the study has shown that 1 out of 4 sunblocks work and 3 out of 4 don't.
What?
So buy 4 different sunblocks, put them all on, and you'll cover all your bases.
Wow, smart.
Thank you.
Or else you
This
by
is
the
your future.
sunblock
Yes.
company, the industry.
Exactly. So thank you guys for listening. Enjoy your weekend. Be back Tuesday. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always, rock local. Later.
Wish upon a side of beef.
Yeah.
Will come and
You waving to
empty
people?
all your
We are.
grief.
Yeah.
But if you've been mean or kind of bad, I will knock out all your teeth.
Babuski. We should all grab tea sometime. Catch up.
He's Herb.